Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 1 in a series between MTW Dimaga and ESC Goody. Game 1 taking place here on Testbug. Goody spawning as the purple Terran player at the 3 o'clock position. Dimaga spawning as the red Zerg here at the 7 or 8 o'clock position. Testbug, I have cast a couple games on this map already, so you guys should know the layout of the land. If you don't, there's only 3 starting locations. It's kind of symmetrical based upon the center axis here. Everything is based on a circle, and if you actually look at the Zelnaga watchtowers, you can see where the lines of symmetry are actually set up. We can now have an Overlord making its way out to the 12 o'clock location. It will not find its opponent, as he did not spawn over there. Meanwhile, back over here, we now see a supply depot being built on the front door. Now, a little bit interesting just to see how this map is set up. There's 3 separate tile sets used on this map, and if you take a look at it, it's kind of interesting how water leads into the emptiness of this cavern over here, into the emptiness of space. So do not ask me how this world does look. I do not know, but it must be an interesting world. A drone now making its way out from Dimaga. Dimaga gonna quickly go up that ramp, spot an SCV building a barracks, and I believe he will have enough time to do a little bit of harassment onto that SCV, so that SCV may take some damage as it's trying to build over there. Another SCV will most likely be called over to try to shoo away Daisy the drone. Daisy the drone now trying to walk away, trying to run away. It looks like she will be able to escape, as it is just wandering around on the inside trying to get as much scouting information as possible. We are seeing at 14, we are going to be getting a Marine and now training up an additional command center there. I think Goody actually slowed down his SCV production a little bit in order to get the refinery down a little bit earlier, as we have a drone on that low ground. The drone perhaps going to try to walk back up that ramp, not going to be able to see anything and be forced to go away. An SCV now wandering back into the 12 o'clock location, not going to be able to find anything, as it will now scout down here. Dimaga already going for a very early expansion here on Testbug. This expansion location bodes well for a Zerg player, and as spine crawlers can both protect the natural expansion and your ramp going into your main base. Also, this cliff over here cannot be siege tanked, it cannot be Thor dropped, so you don't have to worry about any units trying to drop you onto that ledge there. You can have a couple anti-air units there, or sorry, not air units, Banshees hiding along that upper ridge, but as soon as the Banshee fires, it will reveal itself. One Marine now trying to run away from those drones, but I think Dimaga may end up getting surrounded, but Dimaga should not be chasing that Marine all the way across the map like that. Those 5 drones would have returned 50 minerals already, but perhaps he was waiting for the hatchery to be completed. And one Overlord now making its way down into this position here to see if it can spot any drops coming in. Goody now opening up with the 1-1-1 build. He is only running off of 1 gas right now, so he may just be simply trying to go for a Hellion medevac drop with some Marines as support. That should work out very well unless the Roach Warren is completed and a lot of Roaches are trained. Dimaga currently running off of 1 gas, so he's not going to be able to get too many Roaches, about 5 Roaches a minute. So he should have 5 Roaches, perhaps even a little bit more by the time that starport is completed, and then flying over. By the time he flies over, there may be even in the realm of 7 Roaches. So 7 Roaches should be able to stop any drops if it is going to be a drop ship play. Back into the base over here, we now see a Hellion trying to get some damage, able to torch some of those Zerglings. One Zergling now down. The Hellion looking for another Zergling to take out. It looks like it is going to be able to take down this one Zergling at the Zelnaga watchtower. That range of 5, just enough. Oh, not going to toast that Zergling one more time. No, now chasing after it. It looks like the Hellion wants that Zergling blood, and there it goes. We do have a Banshee now coming in, so that it is going to be a Banshee without cloak. And this is all off of 1 gas, so this is a little bit of an unorthodox style play. Banshee without cloak, but there are Roaches, so those Roaches that are now scampering about will just end up taking a lot of damage from that Banshee. The Banshee obviously able to attack the ground, while the Roaches are not able to attack back, and this push by Dimaga should be easily countered by the time that this Banshee comes out. And the Roaches may try to come in just a moment. Yeah, now going to snipe down some of those units going after those Marines. Now the Banshee coming over, and the Banshee going to get a couple of quick kills there. So 1 Roach already down. A second Roach may get taken down. One of those SCVs trying to run away. Second Roach has been killed, and now we need to see more queens being trained. So Dimaga now going for that 3rd queen. but I'm not sure if Goody's going to continue to go down the route of Banshee. He just may be trying to get one Banshee to perhaps force a little bit more static defense, force the additional production of queens. And now as this Banshee tries to fly over, it's going to quickly just take damage from that queen there. The queens are able to see air units as they're flying. So even though it is up on that high ground, the air units are currently being revealed, that Overlord also giving sight as well. And now that Banshee, after getting a couple quick kills onto a couple of roaches, now has to return home. There is still a little bit of lag, and for those of you guys who are wondering, I do record my video on a different hard drive than StarCraft 2 is located, so that should not be the issue. A Viking now making its way out, and the Viking's going to go Overlord hunting, obviously going to shoot down this slow-moving Overlord here. Overlord going to get shot down very easily, and now we are going into an armory and also going for double refinery. So 2 refineries, and it should allow for a lot of essentially Thor play, and that's I'm assuming that is going to be a lot of Thors, as siege tanks now being added in as well. We can see the siege tank will most likely will be sieging up there. SCB is now trying to train that Banshee. The Banshee does, or I believe is, no, does not see over here. So Goody does not see the Overlord that is currently positioned right there. There is now another Viking coming in to get more damage onto another Overlord. It looks like a transfusion maybe coming in the near future. No transfusion. There's that transfusion. And now Dimaga losing 50 energy, but able to save 100 mineral Overlord. So nicely done, as that Viking now deciding to move away. I believe that Overlord will decide to back off just a little bit. I don't know if Goody was able to spot it, and if that Viking will be able to rack up another kill. Hatchery now being morphed in here on the high ground expansion at the 9 o'clock location. This will obviously give him a stronger economic lead, and now 7 Mutalisks being trained by Dimaga. So Dimaga may be going for mass Mutalisks and just be trying to go Mutaling. Mutaling generally works out very well for Zerg, especially against Terran players, as Terran players do not have Psystorm. They only have Thors, and Thors that have minimal splash damage against, especially against Magic Box Mutalisks, is just very difficult to try to counter. Those Thors need to get the weapons upgrade to 2-0 before they can really double shot a Mutalisk out of the air. A 6 food unit needing 9 seconds in order to shut down a 2 food unit. But there is one missile turret in play. The Thor already in position, with the one missile turret as backup, able to shoo away these Mutalisks once again. So the Mutalisks only taking some damage, and now we're able to back off. And now another expansion by Dimaga. So Dimaga, being the aggressive Zerg player, expanding all across the map. Terran player currently just limited to 2 bases, while the Zerg will be running off of 4 bases in just a moment, maybe even 5. As these destructible rocks will get taken down, and a hatchery could be morphed here in just a moment. Mutalisks now hanging around by this expansion over here. More and more Mutalisks are still being added. And do I see more Mutalisks? Yes, more Mutalisks being rallied over as well. And now the Mutalisks looking to see how much damage they can do. Perhaps just start splashing. There is a Thor in position. The Thor does have a decent range of 10. So is able to get a lot of damage onto those Mutalisks before those Mutalisks are within combat range. The Mutalisks looking for another target as more Mutalisks being added. And Dimaga going just mass Mutalisks may be able to get a lot of damage in here. Only 2 missile turrets in the base on the south side, so the sheer number of Mutalisks should be able to deal more than enough damage. We can see that this base is pretty much saturated as well. 65 drones compared to 50, as the Mutalisks now coming in, going after that one supply depot. One supply depot is now down. If it goes after that missile turret, no, not going to go after it, as Thors are quickly already walking over as quick as possible. 2 Thors, 3 Thors will be able to get off one shot very, very easily, and now the Mutalisks decide to back off once more. Production, a second Spire being placed down. So a second Spire being placed down in order to get double upgrades. So being able to upgrade, and perhaps also being able to upgrade one to a greater Spire at the same time, will help out significantly. Missile turret not going to get canceled in time, as the Thor is now moving out. So mass Thors with 1-0 upgrades against Mutalisks, who have 1-0 upgrades as well. And oh, trying to fly away, and you can see 2 shots onto that one Mutalisk there. Another Viking finishing off the attack there, as the Thors are trying to get more and more damage onto those groups of Mutalisks. Now scanner sweeping, as Goody just moving out with mass mech, Hellions, Thors, Vikings, and Banshees as well. trying to push out into this location. There are some roaches. Army-wise, who has the advantage? This is pretty even. We'll see who will be able to push it out even further as siege tanks now come in. The siege, oh, the poor Spinecrawler is now trying to come in, and now the Thor is coming in. Magic Box Mutalisk trying to come in as well. Zergling's going to try to do a surround, but the Hellions able to get off a lot of damage, cleaning off many of those Zerglings, and now it is just Mutalisk versus Thors, and there is not enough Thors in order to be able to shoot down the Mutalisk. And now an even size army ends up with Dimaga winning that battle significantly with a lot of Mutalisks in the air. Mutalisks not countered by Thors at all, but now Hellions trying to come in, trying to get some more damage, going after these very vulnerable drones. 2 drones taken down, only sacrificing, evening out the cost of that 1 Hellion there. Production-wise, more Mutalisks being trained. Carapace upgrade now also being researched, as well as we are not going into tier 2 yet. We could be getting level 2 flyer attack. Level 2 flyer attack would obviously help the Mutalisks' air-to-air attack and air-to-ground attack. Banelings also being trained up as well. Siege tanks do have 1-0 upgrades, so they will be able to one-shot any Zergling as this Mutalisk army now makes its way out once again. 24 Mutalisks, 1 full, a control group of Mutalisks now making their way out, and then perhaps going to be able to shut down the main base once more, going after that missile turret. Missile turret just going to get destroyed so easily, and now SCVs completely vulnerable here, now going after those units. There is 1 Thor. The Thor, however, just going to get magic boxed once more. There is a missile turret down over here, which will help out even further, and now the Thors and Hellions, SCVs trying to repair the Hellions over here as the roaches now just swarming into the Thor line here, and there's the GG from Goody. So Goody losing that battle here on Testbug, and now Dimaga taking a 1-0 lead. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Dimaga and Goody.